Hi, folks. It's Larry Gallon, and you're watching Fox and Friends, and if you ain't, why not?
He's got a good point. If you ain't, 20 minutes before the top of the hour, President Obama has a March Madness bracket, but one Republican Senate candidate has a constitutional madness bracket. The Sweet 16 constitutional violations by this president, according to Ben Sasse, coming up straight ahead.
And she was on the front line for one of the most dramatic world.
And as the president follows his March Madness bracket, a Republican Senate candidate has his own. It's a constitutional madness bracket, the Sweet 16 just announced. But first, on this day in 1937, Congress...
Meanwhile, it's the new March Madness. It's getting a lot of buzz. The constitutional madness bracket created by a Nebraska Senate candidate. It asks America which of President Obama's constitutional violations is the worst of all. Well, Americans are voting in droves, and here to reveal the results of the next round of the bracket is the creator, Nebraska Senate candidate Ben Sasse. Good morning to you.
Good to be with you.
Good.
I thought we had Dick Vitale on with us today. I'm a little disappointed.
Let's take a look at the bracket, baby. For people who didn't see last week, these are all things that you say depict the lawlessness so far of the Obama administration.
Yeah,
you had 64.
Yeah, we have Nebraskans want to talk about the Constitution. They don't understand why our leaders aren't, and some people at a town hall created the idea. How do we, let's compete them so we can help the American people recover the Constitution.
Okay, so you started with 64, then over the weekend winnowed it down to 32. Now we're down to 16. Let's go in some of the regions and talk a little bit about how you decided one over another.
Yeah, so our folks vote. So go to constitutionalmadness.com. This week we'll go from the Sweet 16 to the Final Four. But, you know, the IRS targeting of the Tea Party came in as a #1 seed. But right now the National Labor Relations Board appointments, the president doing it when the Senate's still in session, that's really surging coming out of the North.
Because it was done in the recess, even though they weren't in
recess, right.
Over here in the West?
You know, in the West, I think you see a little more of a libertarian feel coming out of the West. But cell phone spying, I think, is still the one to beat coming out of the West.
Mm-hmm. Fast and Furious made it out of Fed drug laws.
You know, I think the Fed drug laws, Vegas had Fed drug laws planning to beat Fast and Furious, but Fast and Furious has come out of the South. But I really think this is the side of the bracket that's still most interesting. You have sort of a social conservative, economic conservative breakdown here. We had the auto bailouts, even though they weren't a financial institution, but I still think the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission targeting church hiring, it's fundamentally unconstitutional.
Okay, so Ben, what we've got here now, we have 16. You want people to go on the website. Is that it to figure out who's going to wind up in the Final Four?
Yeah, they can go to sassfornebraska.com or constitutionalmadness.com and vote to get from 16 to 4.
You know, it is amazing when you think about the fact that you had 64 examples of how you feel the president and his administration broke the law. And then everybody started climbing onto this. It started, as you said, at some of your town hall meetings, and now it's lit on fire.
It's breaking Twitter. Nebraskans want to recover the Constitution, and they think we need to have a conversation about constructive, conservative solutions. And so come visit us at constitutionalmadness.com.
Okay, now there's something that you're up to today, and it involves Obamacare.
Yeah, I mean, conservatives lose elections when we give people no ideas, and Democrats are the party of big government, bad ideas. So we're rolling out our Obamacare alternative today as well. So we hear Nebraskans on the ground saying we want to recover a constitutional system, and the way we do that is by repealing Obamacare and offering an alternative. We're rolling ours out.
So is this a replacement for Obamacare?
It's not a replacement. We need to fully repeal the whole thing and create a framework where the private sector can solve these problems. Families should be able to take their insurance policies with them across job and geographic change. Big government solutions from Washington aren't going to solve it. The private sector can, but we need to fix the tax code to enable that.
All right. Ben, it's a real pleasure having you on the program today. Once again, if people would like to go ahead and vote and winnow this down to the Final Four.
We'll be announcing the results of the Final Four next weekend.
All right. Very good. We're going to be continuing to track this all week long right here on Fox and Friends.
Good to be with you.
And if you'd like to vote, go to constitutionalmadness.com. Meanwhile, 4 minutes before the top, they are...